On November 8th, tens of millions of Americans cast their ballots on one of the most controversial issues in modern history. It's divided friends, families, and neighbors, and it's caused protests to erupt in major cities from Washington, D.C. and New York to Los Angeles, Dallas, and even Topeka, Kansas. At stake is the future of a taboo vice that has ignited a modern-day gold rush. Yet, it has nothing to do with this precious metal, but everything to do with a shocking commodity that could soon be 5 times more valuable than gold itself. And even though over half of the country cannot legally obtain it at any cost, already it is transforming everyday Americans from coast to coast into millionaires virtually overnight. And they didn't have to break a single law to rewrite their financial destinies. This highly sought-after commodity is expected to create $6.7 billion of new wealth, and that's just this year. By 2020, Bank of America and Merrill Lynch estimate that will grow to $35 billion, and many experts believe it could eventually reach $150 to $200 billion each and every year. November 8th marks the date when this could kick into hyperdrive, which means time is running out for you to get in on the ground floor of an event so big, none of us will ever witness it again in our lifetimes. The end of a prohibition. Marijuana's prohibition. You have the chance right here, right now, to legally become what People magazine describes as a marijuana millionaire. In fact, you could be sitting on a pile of cash, all from weed, and without ever coming within a country mile of a single joint. Keep watching and I'll show you how. My name is Michael Robinson. During my career, I have been a board member for a Silicon Valley venture capital firm and a senior advisor to 12 high-tech startups. 20 years ago, if you came up and told me, "Hey, Michael, if you want to get rich quick, get into the weed business," I would have said, "Sure, pal, are you a cop?" But my oh my, the times they are a-changing. Forget tobacco, marijuana has become the United States' top cash crop. And the numbers don't lie. A single plant can produce anywhere from $7,000 to $15,000 or more worth of marijuana. So while money may not grow on trees, when you're talking about weed, piles of cash are bursting out of the ground. Very soon there could be $35 billion a year in those piles, then $150 billion a year, and then $200 billion. The fast approaching end of marijuana's prohibition has kicked off the great gold rush of our time. And if you think this money is going to stoners, former hippies, and lowlifes, think again. Look at Alan Gertner. Last year he was a top executive at Google, celebrating his 30th birthday and running a $100 million Asia-Pacific division that took him to 50 countries. As Alan tells it, he was more successful at Google than he ever imagined was possible. But he gave it all up, quitting his dream job to pursue an even greater fortune from the United States' green gold rush. Today, Alan is the CEO of Tokyo Smoke, a marijuana brand with a chain of luxury shops opening across North America, each offering upscale clientele the highest quality coffee, smoking accessories, and custom marijuana strains. 2 years ago, Nico Regente's research in machine learning and artificial intelligence was being funded by DARPA, the U.S. Department of Defense's most secretive agency. But today, from his office in Santa Monica, California, Nico and his team from MIT and UCLA are building what could become a billion-dollar marijuana empire. Their app, WoStork, uses artificial intelligence and machine learning to determine the perfect type of marijuana for any customer. It's a breakthrough being hailed as the Netflix of weed. And with the push of a button, your order can be delivered right to your door. Meanwhile, across the country, Washington, D.C.'s biggest legal weed dealer is Rabbi Jeffrey Kurtz. He operates a dispensary just 6 miles from the White House. The rabbi got into the pot business after watching his father-in-law use it to alleviate the pain he felt from multiple sclerosis. He's not worried about what his peers say because the Orthodox Union has officially classified pharmaceutical-grade marijuana as kosher in the United States. When Hank Baker was a teen, he made money selling pine nuts on a street corner in Pueblo, Colorado. Now 25 years old, he's graduated from that street corner to a swank weed dispensary in his hometown. 3 months after setting up shop, Hank was $1.5 million richer. Brooke Green is a former commercial banker who is now making millions from her pot shop. And Chloe Volk, now in her 30s, is no longer a bikini model and event planner. She discovered the grass was truly greener when she followed a different path. Her net worth is over $2 million. And get this, she doesn't even sell weed. Chloe offers business advice on licensing and branding marijuana products as well as mergers and acquisitions. Rabbis, commercial bankers, bikini models, former Google executives, all of these people are growing rich off weed. So why aren't you? Sure, it's technically an illegal vice according to the federal government, but 25 states have said we don't care. They've passed laws allowing medical marijuana. 16 states have decriminalized it for recreational use. 4 states plus the District of Columbia have made both recreational and medical use completely legal. And with every new piece of pot legislation that has been passed, incredible wealth has been created very quickly, which is why even well-known celebrities can't resist the green gold rush. Hall of Fame quarterback Joe Montana is investing in weed now. So is Hall of Fame NBA player Oscar Robertson, as well as billionaire venture capitalist Peter Thiel and 2-time Grammy Award-winning musician Melissa Etheridge. Cheryl Schumann is the founder of the Cannabis Club in Beverly Hills. She says her phone is ringing off the hook thanks to A-list celebrities calling her to find out how to invest in marijuana. She thinks this is the biggest opportunity we'll see in our lifetime. And with each day that passes, more and more people you'd never think had smoked a joint before are stepping forward to reveal they absolutely have. Oprah Winfrey, Senator John Kerry, Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas, they've all admitted to taking a toke. Billionaire George Soros has, and he enjoyed it. You can add Michael Bloomberg to the list, who boldly proclaimed he smoked weed and enjoyed it as well. That's 2 of the world's richest men. Dr. Sanjay Gupta has given ganja a try, along with former Governor Jeb Bush, and of course his brother George, the 43rd President of the United States. Even American seniors are now living the high life. They're the fastest growing group of marijuana users, and every medicinal puff they take could help save one of our most important safety nets. Conservative estimates suggest legalizing marijuana nationwide would lower Medicare prescription drug costs by $468 million, while putting an extra $28 billion in tax revenue into Uncle Sam's coffers. This green gold rush is happening right now, but things are about to get even more exciting. And to stake your claim to this historic cash grab, you don't have to operate a dispensary that sells retail reefer or become a farmer who plants the pot. You could become the next marijuana millionaire from the stock market. Think about this. During this recent run of states passing legislation to legalize weed, no fewer than 44 marijuana stocks have shot up over 1,000%. 11 of them have surged past 10,000%. 5 have exploded over 25,000%. 3 have soared over 50,000%. And 1 has even surpassed 130,000% gains. Now, maybe you don't smoke weed, or maybe you do but don't inhale. Maybe you're looking for a strain of cannabis that will pair well with a wine and cheese party. If so, the reviews suggest Ultra Sonia is your ticket. Or maybe you're suffering from insomnia. Fortunately, MK Ultra is described as a perfect sleep aid for those who might need a little help hitting the hay. If marijuana helps ease your pain, I say go for it. Take a toke. And if you want to smoke it in the comfort of your home, it's none of my business. My business is the stock market, and the business of weed stocks is booming. Which is why the people running these marijuana companies are not characters best suited for a Cheech and Chong movie. Far, very far from it. Take Vape Holdings. Its CEO was a former U.S. naval officer with a master's degree in nuclear engineering. After graduating, he ran the USS Ronald Reagan aircraft carrier's onboard nuclear reactors. But today he's in the weed business, selling vaporizer technology. Back in 2014, when a small group of states passed marijuana legislation, the stock of Vape Holdings shot up from 40 cents a share to $35.90 over the course of about 4 months. That's an 8,875% rise. Now look at Mountain High Acquisitions Corp. It was founded by a man who spent the previous 35 years of his life as an accountant. But he traded in the nonstop excitement of fighting audits and filing tax returns for his small business clients to launch his marijuana company that focuses on nutraceutical products. It was a smart move because his stock, which was once trading for just 10 cents a share, has risen as high as $14. Investors who timed that just right could have grabbed a 13,900% winner. Or if you want to crunch the numbers, taking a $500 flyer on the stock of Mountain High Acquisitions Corp could have put $70,000 in your pocket. These are just two of the many weed stocks that have already provided incredible rapid-fire windfalls for investors who had the guts to jump into what has become the fastest-growing industry in the United States. And there's nothing stopping you from getting in on the next round of this pot stock gold rush. Right now, 61% of the American public believes weed should be legalized. Doctors are even more fervent in their views about pot. 23,000 scientific papers have been released on the medical applications of weed. Alzheimer's, cancer, epilepsy, post-traumatic stress disorder, autoimmune diseases, the list goes on and on. In fact, 82% of surveyed oncologists approve of medical marijuana. Dr. Donald Adams of the University of California is one of them. Every day he recommends cannabis use to his patients to treat a long line of conditions. Why? Because it works. He then proposed the question, if physicians are in support of cannabis as a medicine, why is it not medicine? The voters in state after state are quickly coming to an agreement that it is, because the evidence is impossible to ignore. That means if you know which pot stocks to invest in right now, you could be punching your ticket to a 7-figure weed windfall. Now, a word of warning. I'm going to be talking mostly about penny stocks, and they're absolutely more risky and volatile than your run-of-the-mill blue chips. But by putting a couple of $100 in just a few of these next-generation weed companies, you could make more money from the stock market than you've ever seen before in your life. Unless, of course, you've turned a $500 stock investment into over $600,000 before. If so, you might have the chance to do it again. That's a truly exceptional situation, one nearly impossible for any investor to anticipate. Okay, here's a brief look at the previous generation of weed windfalls and their undeniable connection to weed legislation. In March of 2016, Pennsylvania's House of Representatives voted to become the 24th state to legalize medical marijuana. The legislation didn't just squeak through either. It passed 149 to 46. And as U.S. News described it, it set off cheers in the ornate chamber. So that leads us to the Digital Development Group. They offer internet subscriptions for independently produced content. They even have an exclusive streaming agreement with Amazon. This company launched the digital channel MJ360 TV. The channel caters to those who have a fondness for weed. The Digital Development Group is a tiny company. On February 26th, its stock was trading for well below a penny. It was so cheap you probably could have bought 50,000 shares for the price of an okay cup of coffee at a truck stop. But by March 11th, so about 2 weeks later, this stock had shot up 1,500%, right in line with Pennsylvania's legislation. If this was a lone case, you could chalk it up as a coincidence. But I have 44 stocks that surged past 1,000% that suggest otherwise. Let's go back to 2015, the year Georgia and Texas legalized medical cannabis and Delaware decriminalized weed. The same year, the stock of Rocky Mountain High, a company that sells a line of hemp-infused energy drinks, surged 3,157% in a little over 2 months. Now go back to 2014. Minnesota and New York passed legislation legalizing medical marijuana. Alaska and Oregon gave a big green thumbs up for recreational marijuana use. And Maryland decriminalized cannabis. This was an enormous year for marijuana stocks. Take Zone Properties. They build sustainable facilities for medical marijuana growers. Care to take a guess how high Zone Properties stock spiked over the course of roughly 3.5 months? 11,781%. Pretty good, right? Not as good as United Cannabis Corporation, a grower of genetically refined strains of medical-grade cannabis plants. In early February, it was trading for about 6 cents a share. By early April, $10.50. So this stock shot up 16,700% over the course of 2 months. I will repeat that. United Cannabis Corporation, 16,700% in only 2 months. But if you were willing to wait an extra month for your payday, you could have made about twice that return with Green Cure's botanical distribution. They create hemp-infused nutritional supplements for sports recovery and body care. At the beginning of 2014, it was trading for barely a penny. By the beginning of April, it had exploded to $5.92 a share. That means the stock of Green Cure's botanical distribution shot up 36,412% in just about 3 months. That's still not even 2014's top pot stock. Supreme Pharmaceuticals was. They operate a small facility outside of Ontario, Canada. They grow cannabis for medical purposes. During July of 2013, shares were priced so far under a penny, you would have needed the Hubble Space Telescope to have seen them. By May of 2014, Supreme Pharmaceuticals stock had rocketed up 58,767%, enough to turn a paltry $500 into $294,335. Of course, those are the headliners from the year, but there were plenty of other conservative weed windfalls that were there for the taking as well. International Consolidated Companies is in the marijuana logistics business. Their stock jumped 5,025% between April and September. Pot Network brands itself as your one-stop shop for what's going on in the marijuana industry for the latest news, food, and fashion. Between January 31st and March 24th of 2014, its stock rose from 19 cents a share to $14.38. That's a 7,567% payday. TerraTech, the previous November, it was trading for 6 cents a share. By March, the stock was up 2,195%, hitting $1.40. The previous December, General Cannabis cost $1.81 a share. March of 2014, $48.38. That's a 2,573% spike. Creative Edge Nutrition up 3,969%. Hemp Inc. up 1,870% in about 3 months. Integrated Cannabis Solutions, in March, it was a 5-cent stock. In May, it peaked 1,378% higher at 74 cents a share. And I already talked about Vape Holdings, the small weed company with a former naval nuclear scientist at the helm. That was an 8,875% success story. Now, you might be saying, Michael, these are exceptional situations, rare opportunities. To that I say yes, they are. They seem to just pop up around the time that new legislation is passed. Jump back to 2012. This was the year Massachusetts legalized medical marijuana, but that wasn't the big story. Washington State and Colorado legalizing recreational use was. With Colorado, it took a couple of years for the first dispensaries to open. Now it is a $1 billion industry in the state. They're collecting $135 million in taxes and fees. And where is $40 million of that money going a year? To building new schools. Now let's look at Cannabis Sativa, a marketer of herbal skincare products. In March of 2012, Cannabis Sativa was trading for 25 cents a share. 2 years later, it peaked at $13.72. That's a 5,388% ride. CV Sciences shot up 7,254%. Mountain High Acquisitions Corp., the venture launched by that former accountant, its stock ran up 13,900%. This same year would also mark the starting point of the biggest stock windfall I've ever seen. Praetorian Properties buys up distressed real estate in less than desirable areas. It then rehabs these lots so they can be sold or leased to marijuana growers in states where weed has been legalized. Between June of 2012 and March of 2014, Praetorian Properties share price rose 135,614%. Let's put that into perspective. Over the last 25 years, the share prices of electronics retailer Best Buy rocketed up 28,703%. Computer software maker Microsoft climbed 29,266%. Computer hardware heavyweight Cisco Systems soared 33,632%. Insurance juggernaut United Health surged 37,672%. Money management firm Eaton Vance spiked 38,444%. Industrial tools manufacturer Danaher rose 47,913%. And mutual fund manager Franklin Resources jumped 64,224%. It took Praetorian Properties less than 2 years to put them all to shame. It was a potential 135,614% payday. If you had invested just $500 in this weed stock, it could have made you $678,571 richer. A $1,000 stake could have transformed into a nearly incomprehensible $1,357,143. And there are so many other examples, I don't have time to go into them all, but I will touch on a few more. 2008, Michigan legalizes medical marijuana. That same year, Verde Sciences stock starts shooting up 2,713%. 2007, New Mexico votes yes on prescription pot. By August of 2007, Vapor Group was trading 950% higher than the previous year. And Lexaria Corp, 1,500% higher. Go back even further to 1999, the year Maine legalized medical marijuana. Beginning that July, Easton Pharmaceuticals went on a 1,209% tear over the 8 months that followed. InMed Pharmaceuticals went on its own run, culminating in a 1,904% boost just 9 months later. And then there was Green Grow Technologies. They manufacture eco-friendly cultivation systems for weed growers. Between March of 1999 and the following March, Green Grow Technology stock went on a thrilling 19,525% ride. And finally, let's go back to 1996, the year California passed Proposition 215, legalizing medical marijuana in the Golden State. Agritech Holdings was a pioneer in this industry, and like so many others, it's never sold an ounce of weed. It builds greenhouse facilities for those that do, though. It's safe to say the near certainty of Proposition 215's passing helped move the stock up well before the big vote. However, the lion's share of this 3,874% windfall came after it did. I think the pattern I've shown you is pretty clear. States pass laws that legalize marijuana use, and during the build-up to the legislation, as well as in the days, weeks, and months after, certain weed stocks fly higher than the crowd at a Grateful Dead concert. So if you know which ones could drive investors into a state of reefer madness and you make a few stock investments now, if all goes according to plan, you could become the next marijuana millionaire. This is no longer Wall Street's wild, wild west. The market has matured, and companies across all industries are taking notice. During a recent $130 million spending spree, Scotts Miracle-Gro acquired General Hydroponics, whose equipment can be used to cultivate marijuana. Microsoft has announced it will begin selling software that tracks marijuana plants from seed to sale. Walmart and Kroger's have gone into business with marijuana heavyweight TerraTech. Shoppers can now walk the aisles and choose from their legal crop grown through edible garden. Walgreens is a $103 billion pharmacy chain. It operates over 8,200 branches in all 50 states. Walgreens has begun sharing the potential medical benefits of marijuana on its website. These are all impossible signs to ignore. The prohibition of pot is coming to an end. And if you want to join the ranks of marijuana millionaires, please pay close attention to what I'm about to say. As I mentioned, I've spent over 3 decades in Silicon Valley as a board member of a venture capital firm and a senior advisor to 12 high-tech startups. In the 1980s, I was involved with sensitive military projects tied to President Reagan's Strategic Defense Initiative. And I worked alongside Lee Iacocca and Roger Smith, the CEOs of Chrysler and GM, as they led a robotics revolution that saved the U.S. automotive industry. In the late 1990s, a few miles north of Silicon Valley, I took part in the meetings that mapped out what would become the $160 billion cloud computing industry. And after the millennium, I worked with Dave DeWalt, the former CEO of McAfee, on cybersecurity technologies just before Intel acquired that company for $7.8 billion. I was also personally involved with a company developing a prototype of a technology called MEMS, or microelectrical mechanical systems. These are the tiny sensors that our smartphones, smart cars, smart homes, any smart technology all have embedded inside of them. In 2006, that company, along with their technology, was sold for $126 million. And today, it's driving a $7 trillion Internet of Everything industry. So I know a thing or two about the next big thing. Marijuana investments are the next big thing. Over the years, a handful of states enacting new marijuana laws here and a handful of states there have helped propel 44 weed stocks past 1,000% gains. 11 of those soared past 10,000%, 5 past 25,000%, 3 have soared over 50,000%, and 1 has surged over 130,000%. So this could be a truly historic opportunity, and the time to strike is now. For the last 6 months, my team and I have dedicated thousands of man-hours and over $250,000 toward the most exhaustive analysis of the marijuana industry to date. I've met with leading growers, dispensaries, the angel investors. I have vetted the next generation of weed stocks that are poised to make investors rich. I've even created something that can show you how to become an actual owner of privately held marijuana startups before they IPO. I've compiled everything you need to know into 2 unique investment research resources, and I want to send them both to you for free. The first is a special investment briefing called The Road to Marijuana Millions: Plot Your Course to a 7-Figure Weed Windfall. This is a complete and thorough analysis of the next 30 weed stocks that could deliver 1,000% plus windfalls to investors, some by multiples of 10, 20, or more. Each of these 30 stocks is primed to surge after the November elections. In the Roadmap to Marijuana Millions, I'll show you how to make a killing by investing in the next generation of marijuana farmers. We're starting to see Ivy Leaguers trade in their blazers for overalls, and scientists are creating custom strains of marijuana with wacky names like Golden Goat, Super Lemon Haze, Bruce Banner No. 3, even Stevie Wonder. And if you want to see how big the paydays in this niche can be, just look at the previous generation. Like Supreme Pharmaceuticals, they grow medical marijuana out of their greenhouse overlooking Lake Huron in Ontario. And when you are picturing this greenhouse, don't imagine something a grandmother uses to grow her tomatoes. Picture one that is 7 acres long. That's not quite 7 football fields, but it's not far off either. Supreme Pharmaceuticals stock was a 58,767% success story back in 2014. Look at Stevia Corp., another one of the previous generation growers. In under a year and a half, its stock soared 30,426%. With the Roadmap to Marijuana Millions as your guide, you'll have the chance to invest in the next Supreme Pharmaceuticals and Stevia, but that's just the beginning. You could make 6 figures from investing in the hottest marijuana technology. I've already told you about Green Grow Technologies. Now let's look at Grow Life. High-powered light bulbs, fans, grow tents, greenhouses, soil nutrients. They sell every piece of marijuana farming tech someone could ask for. This stock shot up 2,492% between August of 2013 and March of 2014, jumping from 3 cents a share to 78 cents. Cerna Inc. developed a biosecurity system that delivers sanitized air directly to marijuana plants that are being grown indoors. This technology protects pot from mold, funguses, and pests. Cerna's stock shot up from around 18 cents a share in November of 2013 to $7.85 a share the following March. That's 4,386%. The Medical Cannabis Innovations Group invented a really interesting turnkey grow room solution. The company sells these large cubes to marijuana farmers that connect together like Legos. It's really a sight to see. They are even powered by solar and collect rainwater to distribute to the plants. From around the middle of 2013 through the beginning of 2014, this company's stock grew and grew, peaking 14,736% higher. Breed It Corp provides information systems for marijuana farmers. It was a 4,058% success story back in 2014. Vega Biofuels developed a charcoal-based soil fertilizer called biochar. Way back in 2011, it took only 4 days for this stock to shoot up 2,729%. It went from $1.05 a share to $29.70. But again, these are all the last generation opportunities. We might see even faster returns and even bigger gains from the next generation of must-have marijuana tech. And the next section of the Roadmap to Marijuana Millions will reveal opportunities in a niche that could be even more valuable than the weed itself. Land. They're not making any more of it, and marijuana real estate is creating insane windfalls, like zoned properties, which shot up 11,781%, and Praetorian properties up 135,614% in under 2 years. Who wouldn't want to get in on the next generation of pot real estate investments? But why stop there? Move over Starbucks, McDonald's, and Dunkin' Donuts. Marijuana dispensaries could become the hottest chains. It's estimated that 2.6 million Americans across the entire country would seek medical marijuana treatment if it became available in their state. Add in the recreational users, that's about 100 million people, and suddenly nearly 1 out of every 3 people you know becomes a legal customer. To meet this growing demand in the coming years, dispensaries are going to be popping up everywhere. Getting in on the ground floor now could set you up for a chain of windfalls, and the rewards could be much, much greater than dispensary owner Terra Tech's 4-month 2,195% spike. Plus, what they're selling in those dispensaries is going to mint millionaires as well. We're talking marijuana munchies, pot protein bars, cannabis cola, ganja gum. The edibles market is about to explode. Think about a food or drink that you would never imagine being connected to marijuana. Somebody is probably in a kitchen or distillery concocting it now. Look at Rocky Mountain High brand. Their hemp-infused energy drinks are being sold on Amazon.com. They come in flavors like lemonade, mango, and coconut lime. Their stock has shot up as much as 3,157%, but the future is even brighter for this part of the marijuana market. In fact, the first weed distillery is even being opened. The founders believe their product is so good, simply calling it marijuana would be doing it the same amount of justice as calling vodka potato juice. The Roadmap to Marijuana Millions will show you the tiny stocks that could soon become the kings of the edibles market. And then it will explore one of the most important areas of this booming industry. Small pharmaceutical companies are looking to create wonder drugs from weed. For decades, the FDA has quietly been greenlighting drugs that either contain or have similar chemicals as those found in the cannabis plant. And they've not been shy to express their public support of research to explore marijuana's vast potential. In fact, the agency has already granted fast-track approval and orphan drug status to some pot drugs. But the U.S. is not alone. 25 countries have approved the use of prescription marijuana drugs. GW Pharmaceuticals was one of the pioneers in this field. The FDA granted its Epidiolex therapy orphan drug status for treating multiple sclerosis, spasms, and cancer pain. Between July of 2013 and June of 2015, their stock shot up 1,380%, and today they are a $2 billion pharmaceutical titan. Insys Therapeutics was granted an orphan drug designation by the FDA for its weed-based treatment for glioblastoma multiforme. It's one of the most aggressive malignant brain tumors. While GW Pharmaceuticals was on its 1,000% tear, Insys Therapeutics was running neck and neck with them. It shot up 1,102%. During a 2.5-month window from early January of 2014 to the end of March, share prices of Abatis Bioceuticals soared 13,627%. For patient investors, the windfall from Peak Pharmaceuticals was even bigger. Between November of 2010 and April of 2014, its share price exploded 53,471%. The windfalls from the next generation of marijuana pharmaceutical companies could leave Peak Pharmaceuticals in the dust. They're all revealed in the Roadmap to Marijuana Millions. And in the final section of this special investment briefing, you will delve deep into the world of banking and venture capital. Last generation Opportunity My eCheck developed a payment processing solution that helps dispensaries take in all that cash from their customers. Back in 2011, their stock shot up 4,900% in under 1 month between November and December. You're going to discover the next My eCheck in the Roadmap to Marijuana Millions and the next Mentor Capital. This is a private equity firm that buys weed businesses. In the past, its stock has soared 2,713%. Novus Acquisition and Development returned 3,100% in a single year from offering medical savings plans to help patients pay for their marijuana prescriptions. The next Novus is out there for the taking. You'll learn who it is in the Roadmap to Marijuana Millions. Now, past performance is never a guarantee of future results. So, I can't guarantee which, how many, or if any of these marijuana stocks will hit quadruple digits. However, with 44 companies that have already shot past 1,000% gains, I'm quite confident we're about to see a whole new generation shoot past this mark again. Each of the 30 weed stocks in this special briefing comes complete with a thorough review. I'm going to give you a rundown of the 3 R's. Risk. Most are penny stocks, so they come with added risk. But as I've shown you, the potential rewards are enormous, and that's the second R. I'm going to lay out the potential windfall scenarios in play. And the third R is range. That's the time range I anticipate you need to hold the stock in order to reap any reward. Imagine just picking 5 of the 30 marijuana stocks in this special briefing and putting only $500 into each opportunity. Now, think about this. $500 in Stevia Corp could have delivered an amazing $152,630. $500 in Green Cure's botanical distribution could have transformed into a stunning $182,000. $500 in Peak Pharmaceuticals could have soared up to $267,855. $500 in Supreme Pharmaceuticals could have boosted your net worth by $294,335. And $500 in Praetorian Properties could have returned a historic $678,571. All you needed to do was hit it big with one of these 5 truly rare and exceptional windfalls. But frankly, if you pick just 5 stocks out of the Roadmap to Marijuana Millions and one of them puts up a return that's 1/10 or 1/20th, heck, even 1/50th as good as these delivered, you'll be telling that story for the rest of your life. The Roadmap to Marijuana Millions is valued at $149, and you don't have to pay a dime for it. In a few moments, you'll find out how you can receive a free copy. But I've got another surprise for you. Does the idea of owning a large piece of a privately held weed startup before it IPOs intrigue you? You don't have to be a billionaire, and it's a lot easier than you think. Well, I've been having discussions with the CEO of an innovative firm out of California that matches up smaller angel investors to early-stage marijuana companies. Already, he has raised $73 million for 116 startups. And time again, his firm has gotten people into pre-IPO marijuana startups well before billionaire venture capitalists stake their claims. Meadow is a perfect example of this. It is developing a full-service e-commerce app for the marijuana business. Before a group of venture capitalists led by Hall of Fame quarterback Joe Montana, plus the founder of Reddit and several Facebook execs, invested $2.1 million in Meadow. This firm's CEO negotiated a deal for his smaller angel investors to get their piece of the action. Today, Meadow is being hailed as a possible $1 billion marijuana heavyweight. Ease has been dubbed the Uber of weed. This tiny startup helps facilitate thousands of medical marijuana deliveries every single day. If you have a prescription, you can simply open their app, place an order, and have pot delivered to your door in 10 minutes. And even if you don't have a prescription, the Ease MD feature allows you to have a video consultation with a doctor who will determine whether your condition warrants one. In 2014, it launched on a shoestring $1.5 million budget. Much of this money came from angel investors who were brought to the table by the CEO that I've been talking to. But the next year, some of the bigger players in venture capital rushed in with $10 million worth of funding. And now Ease is being touted as another privately held weed startup that could hit a $1 billion valuation. Another example is Privateer Holdings. It owns a variety of companies including Marley Natural, a marijuana products developer created by the family of Bob Marley. Back in 2013, this CEO's angel investors took part in a $7 million funding round. In April of 2015, Privateer Holdings caught the attention of venture capital legend Peter Thiel, the co-founder of PayPal and an early investor in Facebook, LinkedIn, SpaceX, Airbnb, and Yelp. Thiel became the main player in a $75 million funding round for Privateer Holdings. Today, Privateer Holdings has reached a valuation of $425 million. Think about if you have been able to get a piece on day one of Meadow, Ease, Privateer Holdings, or even Mass Roots. It's a marijuana social networking website with 775,000 users. Back in 2013, the CEO I've been talking to raised $150,000 in seed money from Mass Roots. A year later, Mass Roots was valued at $5 million. Last year, it hit $106 million. I've combined the insight I've garnered from this CEO who has been linking angel investors up with these small marijuana startups along with my team's vast market research, and I've created a truly one-of-a-kind multimedia resource. It's called The Complete Angel Investor's Blueprint for Marijuana Startups. And it has a very specific goal to show you how to become one of the angel investors funding these private weed startups before the billionaires rush in. You'll discover how you could receive 3 pitches a month from marijuana startups. They can be delivered via video straight to your inbox. And I'm going to walk you through how to analyze these types of deals. The next Meadow, Ease, Privateer Holdings, and Mass Roots is out there. You'll be shown how to get in on the ground floor of that deal and the one after it and the one after that. This is incredible. The value of the Complete Angel Investor's Blueprint for Marijuana Startups is $149. And just like the roadmap to Marijuana Millions, it can be yours for free. However, there is a catch. Given the size of some of these marijuana companies, I can only allow 500 people to take me up on my offer today, and I can't guarantee it'll be available a few hours from now, much less tomorrow. You see, as Money Morning's Director of Venture Capital Research, my job is to help everyday folks get in as close to the ground floor on the investments, innovations, and Silicon Valley deals that could generate astronomical levels of new wealth. Marijuana fits that billing to a T. Is it controversial? Without a doubt. But I've never been one to shy away from that if it makes you money. Remember Bitcoin? It was the hottest investment story back in 2013 and 2014. In June of 2013, I alerted readers that the time to get into the digital currency Bitcoin had arrived. That's because the week prior, I had met with the CEOs, founders, and venture capitalists in California who were at the forefront developing the currency exchanges and investment funds that would push Bitcoin into the headlines. Bitcoin was trading for $90 then. Bitcoin skyrocketed 1,192% over the 5 months that followed. It peaked at $1,163. And the stories I was hearing about average Americans who took a chance on this controversial investment and it transforming their lives was truly inspiring. There were simply too many to count. People from across the country were making hundreds of thousands of dollars. Some were even banking millions. I look at investing in marijuana stocks today just like I did Bitcoin back then. I believe it gives you the chance to become a millionaire. Go back even further. Remember rare earth metals? This was another specialty of mine because I personally knew the advisors and board members of many rare earth mining companies. This allowed me to target 4 specific companies: Rare Elements Resources Limited, Avalon Rare Metals Inc., Quest Rare Minerals, and Great Western Minerals Group. Together, they delivered 990% total gains in only 16 months. And across the board, my team and I at Monday Morning have time and time again brought the hottest venture capital-like stock opportunities to our readers. Ambarella, Celldex Therapeutics, Ram Energy Resources, Westport Innovations, Pharmacyclus. Some of these we've already closed out. Others are still open, and their peak gains are enormous. I want to bring these types of opportunities to you, and I will if you're one of the first 500 people today to try out a 100% no-risk subscription to my Nova X report. Say yes, and I will instantly rush you the roadmap to marijuana millions and the complete angel investor's blueprint for marijuana startups. Then, every month, I will mail and email you a new edition of my Nova X report. Each edition comes with 2 exciting investment opportunities I've personally vetted. For instance, in a recent Nova X Report edition, I shared a pioneer in cryopreservation technologies. This is just starting to be used in cardiac and vascular surgeries involving implantable living human tissue. Already, 1,000 surgeons at 800 facilities in the U.S. are implementing this company's breakthrough, but the growth is about to expand to 75 nations. Another opportunity I disclosed involved a company that had developed a honeycomb advanced material that could create the lightest and fastest aircrafts in history. Plus, I shared a small biotech firm that, while investigating a mountainous area of Southeast Asia, came across a naturally occurring biocompatible polymer called hyaluronic acid. It offers unlimited promise for longevity and pain management treatments and unlimited profit potential. Drones, miracle materials like graphene, 3D bioprinting, big data. We've targeted opportunities in all of these areas. Each monthly edition of the Nova X Report will provide you with a streamlined analysis of the company's fiscal health, financial strength, and their sources of venture capital funding. Then every week, I'll release the Nova X Progress Report. I'll keep you up to speed on any new developments, product launches, earnings reports, and of course, brief you on the current gains we're seeing. And whenever the moment arrives to collect any profits, you'll receive an instant trade alert. For instance, with Micron Technologies, folks following my research had the opportunity to get in and out of that trade in a single day. I actually received a letter from a doctor who told me he bought Micron while boarding a cruise, sold it the next day while cruising for a 140% gain, and paid for his entire vacation with the profits. Now, here's another really exciting member benefit. Whenever I interview the CEOs of the Silicon Valley companies we're targeting, I share this footage with you. This way you can get the inside scoop straight from the source. Your membership also includes 24/7 access to Nova X HQ. This exclusive website is where I store every intelligence briefing, investment recommendation, and alert. And if you have any questions with your subscription, I encourage you to take advantage of the Nova X VIP concierge service. So as you can see, the Nova X Report is a unique and comprehensive solution, which is why the regular price for a year's subscription is $299. I intentionally set it at a rate that is within almost everybody's price range, but you won't have to pay anywhere near that today. Forget 50% or 60% or 70% or even 80% off. You are going to get a deal that is simply too good to miss. I'll get to that in a few moments, but let me first say, for those who do pay full price, it's still an incredible bargain. I'm always proud when folks who are following my research let me know they have made tens of thousands of dollars or six figures in a year. Some have doubled their money, and even better, others have multiplied their entire net worth. If you accept this invitation to join the Nova X Report, we're going to hit the ground running. Along with the roadmap to marijuana millions and the complete angel investor's blueprint for marijuana startups, I'm also going to send you 3 more special investment briefings I've just put the finishing touches on. The first is called Silicon Valley's Silent Partner. Many of today's most successful pharmaceutical, biotech, and technology companies have a silent partner. I'm talking about legacy firms like GlaxoSmithKline, Eli Lilly, and Pfizer, revolutionary biotech enterprises like Biogen and Celgene, and today's hottest technology innovators like Uber, the mobile payment company Stripe, and even Google. Each has sought out a silent partner that provides them with top-tier research facilities, access to the best talent in their respective industries, and direct proximity to government and venture capital funding. In turn, they pay anywhere from $200,000 to over $2 million per month. But here's what's really extraordinary. This silent partner is structured as a trust. That means by law, it must distribute at least 90% of its profits to its trustees. In 2012, the silent partner in this special briefing paid out over $129 million to trustees. In 2014, they paid out over $204 million. And last year, that figure climbed to $222 million. I'll show you exactly how you can become a trustee in this silent partner and begin collecting income from these tech giants for life. And that's just the first of these special briefings. The next is called America's First Line of Defense. You'll discover an innovative new government contractor that's pioneered hypersonic scramjet propulsion technology for aircraft and missile applications. This could allow U.S. missiles to travel at Mach 10, hitting their targets before even the most advanced detection systems know they're fired. Because of their importance to U.S. national security, they've already amassed a $13.8 billion backlog of contracts. By investing today, you could see a 307% return in the coming months. And the third special briefing I'd like to send you is called the Synthetic Biology Gold Rush. Scientists are using the genetic language in DNA to combat everything from heart disease to Alzheimer's, cancer, and thousands of rare genetic disorders. And a small, privately held company founded by 3 doctors from MIT, Harvard, and Stanford has developed a machine capable of mass-producing synthetic DNA. According to analysts, the synthetic biology market is projected to grow 705%, reaching $13.4 billion by 2019. And one small firm is positioned at the center of it all. In this special briefing, I'll reveal how you can invest in their distribution channel and claim a piece of all of their profits. So, to quickly recap, if you accept this 100% no-risk trial invitation, you will receive 12 months of the Nova X Report. That will tap you into a total of 24 ultra-lucrative investment opportunities straight from the world of Silicon Valley. And I'll immediately deliver you the most comprehensive marijuana stock investing resource on the planet. It's called The Roadmap to Marijuana Millions. I'll also include the complete Angel Investor's Blueprint for Marijuana Startups. It will show you how to take direct ownership stakes in privately held marijuana startups before they IPO. Plus, I'll rush you copies of the 3 special briefings: Silicon Valley's Silent Partner, America's First Line of Defense, and the Synthetic Biology Gold Rush. The total value of this package is $744. And there is a button below where you can claim it for a few bucks a month, literally pennies a day. Click the button for all of the details. Plus, I also mentioned this is a 100% risk-free opportunity. That's because I'm including 2 powerful guarantees to seal the deal. Guarantee number 1, you will receive a 60-day, 100% money-back guarantee. If at any time over the next 2 months you don't like what you see, simply contact my team and you will receive a complete refund of your membership. And guarantee number 2, 5 of these weed stocks will surge at least 1,000% over the next year, or I'll refund every penny of your membership. Right after you receive your copy of The Roadmap to Marijuana Millions, I'd like for you to set a reminder on your phone for 1 year from today. By the time that reminder goes off, at least 5 of the opportunities in The Roadmap to Marijuana Millions will have surpassed 1,000% gains, or I will refund your subscription. Again, just call my team and we'll take care of everything immediately. There is a button below where you can secure your membership to the Nova X report. And remember, I can only make 500 of them available today. So let's not waste another moment. I'm Michael Robinson. Thanks for joining me.